Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast. Today I have Jeb Burton sitting with me. So excited to get to know him better. I know that you know who he is because how could you not? And this podcast episode is going to be all about Jeb, where he's come from, how he got to where he is today, and where he's going. And I can't wait to talk to you today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Right when we start, my phone starts ringing. But
busy guy.
Yeah, so appreciate you all having me here, and just looking at the office for the first time today. Y'all have it going on, so it's exciting to see a up and coming brand in Halifax, Virginia.
Yeah, we're excited to keep growing, and to have you in here is an honor, and we're just happy to show you around and kind of talk about what we're doing here and hearing about what you got going on.
Yeah, let's get started.
Let's do it. So I like to start this, although many in the community know who you are, I want to hear from you. What's your background, and what's the path that led you to racing and where you are today?
Well, I grew up here in Southside Virginia as a kid, and my dad raced for many years, and I started racing over here at the local track when I was old enough to start racing limited late models, and I raced go-karts and just chased this path of racing, and been lucky enough to make it to the Xfinity Series. I've been in the Truck Series. I've had some success. Would like to have a little bit more, but we're working hard on that. Got a really good opportunity this year with a brand new race team for me, Jordan Anderson Racing.
Awesome.
Got a bunch of partners that have came along with me, and just trying to keep moving up the ladder in the racing ranks and try to win some more trophies.
Well, I know you can do it, and I listen to a lot of the podcasts that you've been on, and I follow you, and it's known that you work really, really hard. And it's always said in everything, you are one of the hardest working guys, and you're going after sponsors, and you really represent your sponsors well. And I want to know, what is a day in the life of Jeb Burton?
Well, it depends on what time of the year it is. This time of the year is kind of my downtime, and I spend a lot of time with our hunting show, Crossroads with the Burton. So I spend a lot of time with that and the racing to keep me busy. And we just got done with hunting season, but we're about to go on a duck hunt in a couple weeks, and I'm going to the SHOT Show in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to race a late model race in a couple weeks, and then we go to Daytona. So
crazy. Then
the season starts, and it's almost every weekend that we're racing. So, the sponsor side, I'm constantly working on that, trying to grow my partners and find them business deals so I can keep them. And the social media and the sticker on the race car is the easy part. The hard part is finding the business deal so they'll want to come back next year, because racing's an expensive game, and you just got to work really hard to make it happen.
Yeah, and we have a lot of business owners that listen to this podcast, and I want to know, what is it like to be a sponsor for you?
Well, I don't know. I'm not the sponsor. I think so. Like with State Water Heaters, we've had them for 15 years. Yeah. Alsco Uniforms, I've had them for about 5 years now. Yeah. So that's one thing that I try to work really hard on, is to get it where it's hard for you to say no.
Right.
So I've got to do a really good job of over delivering on the racetrack and off. So it's a partnership, and it's just not a one-way street. And that's something that I work really hard in. And a lot of my partners, they're not just a sponsor, they're family. We're friends, we hang out. It's a relationship. It's not just a check in the mail. So that's what I really work hard at, is the relationship building, and trying to do a good job for them.
And you've done a great job at that, and I can see that in your social media, and so I think that's great, and we can definitely see that. And you grew up in the racing industry. Yes, and did you always know you wanted to be in a car?
I did. I just didn't know if I was going to have the opportunity.
Yeah.
And the way the economy went, it got really tough. When I first started coming on the scene, the opportunities diminished. I think, if you look at it, Denny Hamlin was one of the last guys to make it just off talent without a ton of money behind him, and those opportunities are really limited now. It takes a lot of funding to get the opportunities, and if I didn't have the partners that I had, I wouldn't be driving now. So it's all about the sponsorship now. Some guys you still see get a little lucky, but it just is. It's a tough industry to make it. I mean, if you look, there's 40 guys that do it for a living in the Cup Series, and there's 20 guys in Xfinity. So it's a tough game, and it's a frustrating thing. So I work on it all the time. I've had a lot of nights where, question, do I want to do this anymore? Because it's hurting my happiness. It's stressful. It's just a lot that goes on that people don't realize. That's my livelihood, and how I eat is in everybody else's hands.
Right.
If a sponsor calls and says they're out, well, that's taking food off my table, and I might not have done anything wrong. So it's a stressful life. I'm 30 years old now, and I want to do it a couple more years, and I'm not sure what the future holds after that.
Well, I think it's a bright future. And what advice would you give someone that's trying to get into this and get to your level of racing?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I would say just don't give up. Just like with you all are doing here. I mean, you started, with 1 or 2 employees, and now you have 38, you said?
Right, yeah.
So you just got to keep digging and don't give up. But it is anybody in this game had somebody help them get there. If it was a parent, if it was a sponsor, if it was somebody that helped get them to the late model track. You got to have somebody to help you. So you just got to try to get a web of people around you that can help you chase your dream.
Yeah, and anything worth having is worth fighting for. And there are days we have that we're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
This is so tough. And I just think it's so great that you're talking about that, because
a lot of people just think the grass is so greener on the other side, and just not real life. And if anything that you have that someone else wants, you've worked really hard to get, and they probably don't think that, but it's the truth. Just like with what y'all have here, it didn't just pop up yesterday. Y'all bust your tail, and now look what you got, and you're still digging. Like we were talking, you want one of those one day.
Right there.
So, it's going to take a lot of work to get that, but y'all are on the fast track to do it.
Yeah, and Joey talks a lot about success, and everyone always talks about what success looks like. Oh, it's the nice things, it's the nice car, but no one really talks about what it feels like and what it felt like to get there.
Exactly.
And so talking about that and the struggles and how hard it's been to get there is so fantastic, because not enough people talk about that.
Yeah, that part is the racing side is a lot more bad days than good.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's true. And it's hard to get out there, and it takes a lot to get out there, and you're an athlete.
Yeah.
And so can you talk about a little bit what happens behind the scenes to be that? And you can't just get in the car. It takes a lot of conditioning. And so what do you do?
I've got a trainer. I've been going through a little bit of stress here recently, so I've lost a little bit of weight, but I have a workout regimen where I'll work out 3 to 4 times a week doing different things with my body. I try to eat really healthy. It gets 120 degrees in the race car, so hydrating properly and doing a lot of different things like that, so I can be prepared when we do have those really hot days like Nashville last year. It was scorching hot. So
tell me. I just want to know this. Talladega is my favorite.
Yeah.
Love Talladega. What is that like? I mean, that is...
When you're by yourself driving around Talladega, it's kind of boring.
Okay.
You're just wide open, and you don't really know how fast you're going. But when you're in the pack, and you're in a really good car, and you're leading...
It makes my stomach hurt.
And you can control the race. You're looking out... When I'm leading, I'm looking out of the rear view just as much as I am the front to control the lanes, and it's a lot of fun. I really like speedway racing. I've always been really good at it. You really just got to use your brain and pick the lanes and use the side drafting, and it's a lot of fun when you're in a good car. When you're not in a good car, it sucks because you can't go anywhere, and it's not any fun.
Rough day.
Yeah,
one of the rough days.
Yeah, it's not any fun.
So, this is very much a family business. I mean, you have Jeff, Harrison, your dad. What is that like for you? You grew up in the spotlight. So many people across the world know who you are. What is that like for you?
Well, when I was a kid and I first was coming up, it was, I don't know, I think I had some pressure on my back.
Of course.
And I liked some of that and I didn't like some of it, but now I've embraced it. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of my dad. He's done a lot of good things in this community, out of this community. My uncle has as well. My other uncle right up the street here, Brian, he's actually been on the town council.
Amazing.
So I'm proud of my family and proud of who I am, and just hoping that I can carry on our name and make everybody happy.
Yeah, it's amazing. And on a local level, how does it feel to, I mean, you're a local celebrity, we'll say that. How does it feel to know every time you walk in somewhere, whether it's Food Lion, a restaurant, everyone there knows who you are?
I don't know. That's a good thing and bad thing.
Yeah.
You got to be on your behavior. I don't really look at it as I'm a celebrity. I put my pants on just like everybody is the way I look at it. I'm just a country boy, and I love where I live. And
yes.
I go to Charlotte just for race cars, and I come back here.
Yes.
I want to live here. I got a little farm that I have, and a house and some dogs, and this is my home. And I don't really feel like. I think I have more of the, I guess, celebrity thing when I'm away from here.
Right.
People know who I am here, but I don't think people really treat me like that, and I don't want people to treat me like that.
No.
So that's one reason I like living here, and I'm not in the racing scene. I can kind of do what I want to do here.
That is really cool. And what characteristics do you possess that you think has gotten you to where you are right now?
What do you mean by that?
Like, I sense that you're very humble. Talking to you today, you're very humble about where you came from. Do you feel like you have a certain characteristic or quality that has just led you to where you are and gotten you in that perseverance?
I would say just not giving up.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many times I've lost sponsorships, and I lost like 3 sponsorships this year that I didn't even know. I mean, I thought that I had that were coming back, and it put us in a bind, and we just kept working and made it happen. Yeah, so it's been a lot of dark days that I didn't even know if I was going to race anymore, and we're still going. So I think just not giving up would be it.
So you've gone through a lot of stuff, and there have been dark days. What is one of the biggest lessons you've learned in this journey?
Well, obviously not giving up, but some things you can't control. Yeah. And God's got a plan, and with your personal life and with your professional life, some things you just can't control. You can't control other people. If people do things they shouldn't be doing, if people are being dishonest, not being loyal, you can't control what other people do, and you just have to be the best version of yourself and keep learning and just do your deal.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what I've figured out. And that's tough because sometimes when people do you wrong, you want to get on their level and get them back, and I just it's tough to not want to do that, but you just gotta not get on that.
You can't. No. And that kind of goes to something I've always wondered, when you're at the track and you're stepping out and your name is being called and you hear so many people cheering, but then you hear people booing, and that's just part of it, right?
So this year, I had a lot of frustration, and in my personal life and in my professional life, and I got into some altercations and let my emotions show the best of me this year, and I wasn't proud of those incidents, and sometimes you're going to let it happen, but it happened too much this past year, and I think that's where some of the boos came from this year, and I'm not that guy. And people don't know the whole story, but when a microphone's in your face,
it's hard.
That's it. So I think you're trying to be a role model too, and you don't want to be acting up. So I think I learned my lesson with some of that stuff this past year.
That is good, and it can be so hard. I mean, you're in the adrenaline is going, and I mean, and that makes good TV too.
Yeah.
But that can be really tough, and I understand that completely. And there are always two sides to every story, and then always having to take the high road can be hard sometimes.
Yeah. I can promise you that.
Yeah. So you've had a lot of celebrations over the years. There's a lot of good that's happened. What is the one moment in your career that just stands out and was the sweetest?
I would say winning at Talladega a couple years ago.
The best.
Yeah, that was big. Just hadn't won in a while, and to win that race, it was a rain delay, but we were in the front when it mattered, and we were leading a lot of that day, and we had a really good car, and we're gonna have a shot to win either way.
Yeah.
But that was, I would say, a defining day for us.
Yeah. I think that's fabulous, and definitely my favorite track.
Yeah.
And loved watching that win.
Well, y'all will have to come this year.
Oh, we would love to.
Yeah.
And maybe we can have that Rogers logo on
there you go. Yeah,
on the car.
Awesome. Yeah.
That'd be so cool to see. So we are very goal driven. We were talking before we started about, kind of some goals that Rogers has, and I want to know, I mean, it's huge here. So we, in our company, we know our team members' goals, personal, professional, financial, and we help them get there. And I want to know what your current personal and professional goals are.
I don't know. It seems to be changing every day.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I've had a lot of things going on in my personal life recently, and some positive and negative. Sure. And, I think for me, I just want to be the best version of myself I can be, and I want to do everything I can to do that first and foremost. But second, I want to make it to the Cup Series. I'd love to do that. I've won in the Truck Series. I've won in the Xfinity Series. I'd love to try to win in the Cup Series and make it there. And then I want to grow our outdoor show more. I want to help my dad's foundation get to the next level. They've got a bunch of great things going on. And I think another goal I have, I want to have a family one day.
Yeah.
I want to have that, and I think I'm getting old if I'm saying that kind of stuff. So I'm 30 years old, but those are kind of the goals that I have.
Yeah. And you talked about the foundation. Do you tell us about the foundation and how people can give back and what you guys are doing? So
Dad's foundation is the Jeb Burton Wildlife Foundation. He hates that his name's in it, but it needed to be, because he kind of was the rock for it. But Dad's foundation is protecting some military bases with the National Guard, putting deed restrictions on some land, so buildings and neighborhoods and stuff like that won't pop up, so our men and women can train. We have a veteran outreach program. We give a service dog away to a veteran every year. We have a youth outreach program that we do, teaching kids about the outdoors, and we have a bunch of different conservation pieces of property. We hunt on some, but it's mainly just to enhance wildlife and habitat. And the foundation's got over 10,000 acres now, and in Virginia and in Pennsylvania, doing a lot of different things to help wildlife, and it's a lot of different things going on. But you can go on Dad's website and look at a lot of those programs.
It's really amazing what you guys are doing for the community, and we really appreciate that. It's definitely seen, and everyone, please check that out, because it is a really amazing organization. And I know that you also have Crossroads with the Burtons.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that is a hunting show. It's an outdoor TV show. It's got hunting, fishing, cooking. It's got a bunch of different things on there.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's why we're going to the SHOT Show, to see some of our partners in a couple weeks. I think that's actually next week. Me and Dad will be there all week, and then I'll actually come home for about 10 hours, and then I'm flying back to Arkansas to go on a duck hunt to film
that's so cool.
with the show. So we got a bunch of different things going on with that. That keeps me busy, and it shows behind the scenes with the racing stuff, and it kind of keeps people interested in what Dad's doing. We show some of the foundation stuff on there. We show the veterans event. It's been a lot of fun. We've got a bunch of friends and partners that help make that happen, and it's just been another goal of mine to create it. Started on social media, and then we took it to TV, and that's where it is.
It's awesome, and I want to know about the upcoming season. You've made some announcements.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So
yeah, good
tell
timing.
us about what is happening right now and what we can expect.
Yeah, so this year with Jordan Anderson Racing, we're with Chevrolet. We got a bunch of partners. We've actually been working close with Chevrolet already, and we're way farther ahead than I was last year. This time last year, I didn't even have a race shop. So
wow,
this is a lot better. Year. Yeah, I think we're gonna be a top 10 contender every weekend. Hopefully, we can win a race and make the playoffs, and that's kind of my goal for year one with this team.
Yeah, and I mean, it feels right. Does it feel right to you?
It does.
It's gonna be a good season.
It does. It's been a lot to make this happen. We worked on this deal for about 4 months.
Wow.
So it's been tough.
Yeah. Well, there's one question I ask at the end of every episode, and it's a question we ask in every job interview. If you could have dinner with one living person outside of your family, who would it be? Could be anyone.
That's tough.
I know.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I think that would be
that would be good.
He's very career driven, and
yes,
he's very business savvy, and he's got it going on. So I think he would be someone to pick his brain would be pretty cool.
That'd be a really good one. And I feel like.
What about you? Who would be yours?
Do you know Grant Cardone?
I don't.
Okay, Grant Cardone is a billionaire. He's a real estate billionaire and has a training program. He's mentioned a lot in this office. We go through his trainings. But I want to have dinner with his wife because she's been there with him, along this journey. It hasn't always been easy. He talks a lot about the hard work that goes into it. And I would just love to see the perspective of the wife and what it's like to be with someone so driven and to get to where he is.
That's good.
Yeah. And I just appreciate you spending time with us today, talking about your drive and your goals and how it's not always easy. And I think that the theme of this is just making it and just continuing to grind every day to get to where you want to go in life.
For sure.
And I just wish you so much success in this season. I hope to see the Rogers, logo on something in the future and working together. And I'm just really excited to have you here, and I appreciate you spending time with us today.
I really appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Thank you so much for listening every week. Continue sending your feedback, rating, reviewing, and subscribing to this channel. And I cannot wait to talk to you next week on the Rogers Radio Podcast.